Good morning. It is Saturday, August 15th, 2026, and I am pulling up more women talking about the job market. Let's get right into it.
His take when it comes to the job market, whatever. And I have a take on it as a fairly successful content creator, but also as someone who has spent over a decade in the service industry, as well as a couple years in the corporate industry. First of all, I have 1.1 million followers on this account. Views have gone down, but I did eventually hit a million followers.
Hi, just logging on to be.
I just want to say, for women in social media, this has got to be the greatest economic boom ever, right? How easy is it for women these days to gain traction on social media? Especially if you have any shape, right? Any type of anything like that. There's no better time. You can just make a killing.
An absolute nuisance to society, but I knew when I quit my job that the job market's bad and whatever. I was like, I'm going back to school, new opportunity, maybe more jobs will serve in the meantime. It won't be hard to get a job. I have 6 years of serving experience, most of that as a shift lead under the manager for a small chain restaurant. Amazing personality, worked in sales for almost 2 years. Obviously I've got it going on. I'm a fucking phenomenal hire.
Just pause right here. This is what goes on in the brain of these women. They are a phenomenal hire. They don't understand what it means to be productive. They don't understand what it means to make a profit. And they probably don't even realize how unbearable they are to even be around. Look at her.
I can't get a job. I can't get a job. I'm freaking out. My savings are dwindling. I don't really know what I'm going to do.
And you notice how she doesn't know what she's going to do. She didn't start off by saying, I need to start finding a man to take care of me. I need to build a family. I need to figure out how I can start a family. No, she wants to get a job. She wants to work like a man. She probably wants to buy a house like a man. This is the common theme.
What's a girl to do? And I go into these interviews and they're like, well, why don't you just go back to your company you were with for 6 years? That's down the street. Because they can only give me 1 day a week. That's why. You think I didn't think of that first? Obviously, I would love to go back to the place I worked at for 6 years.
And women vote, right? Women have access to the voting booth. And who are these women going to go vote for when they realize, when they think in their head they're deliberately not being hired because of whatever reason that they storm up with that morning that they're emotionally upset about? Of course they're going to go in there and vote for lefty stuff. They're going to go in there and vote for the government to hand them stuff and help them through life, when they really should be finding a man to go through life with them and who will ultimately pay her whole way. These men exist. These men want to provide for women, but women are always too busy crashing out because they can't get a job. It's kind of sad.
And was great at... Did I have a dramatic exit? Yes. Do I think we can forget about it? Also yes, but I can't. So instead, I'm going through a 3-round interview right now for a chain restaurant, and I don't even know if I'll get it.
I hope she doesn't get it. This woman is clueless. This is what the modern American woman is. Crashing out because she can't get a job. Crashing out because she can't find a husband. Crashing out because she doesn't have any kids. Will die alone with cats. I feel bad.
Life, man. It ain't easy being breezy.
You are in the
It's that fucking nose ring.
job search right now, and at any point this week or weekend, you have said, what am I doing wrong? It has never been this hard to get a job. Here is one thing as a COO and hiring manager that a lot of people are getting wrong that nobody is telling you that you may not even realize you're doing.
COO and hiring manager. Here's another problem with these women getting into these positions. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. COO and hiring manager. What good to society is it going to do when she hires another woman to do a job that a man could be doing, and then he can go on to provide for a woman? The whole system is fucked.
My name is Beverly Dines. I'm a chief operating officer who's been scaling operations for over a decade and over 10 industries. Not only have I been unemployed myself, I have literally interviewed thousands of people and have seen many an application. And the one thing I consistently see people in this market getting wrong, and I mean consistently, is that you assume you're the problem. And there's actually a documented psychological reason why this is happening to you. It is called attribution error, specifically self-attribution bias. It is a well-researched phenomenon in organizational psychology that states when we experience repeated failure and we cannot see the external system that is causing it, our brains default to blaming ourselves. We personalize what is actually structural. So you have been tweaking your resume, rewriting your cover letter and your resume 1,000 different times, practicing your answers, maybe doing mock interviews with family and friends, saving every freaking career advice video that you can find, even getting interviews and making it all the way up to 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds.
And it doesn't matter. You need to be friends with the guy who's doing the hiring. Okay? You need to be friends with the boss. You need to know somebody. If you're going to actually go through the company's hurdles in all the interviews and all the applications, you're going to meet the final boss right here. You do not want to meet the final boss. You need to skip this whole process. And we need to get women out of the workforce because they don't know what they're looking for anyway. This woman here is only allowed to do this because other men have provided an office for her, provided air conditioning for her, provided a job with a desk, with a computer, built by men, with systems put in place by men, so she can screen other men. So this is another adult daycare job produced by men for women like this to sit around and think they're doing anything. Hiring is a joke. If a woman can do it, it's a joke. So this is a daycare job. It should be eliminated. That's my 2 cents. This is the last place I want to be right here. Some woman doing this. If you are looking at this, you have fucked up. Run.
Every time you get rejected, every time they tell you they've gone with a more qualified candidate that you know is BS, every time you've checked your bank account and seen your savings dwindle, you decide that it must be you. Because this bias works on things that you cannot see, let me make the invisible visible to you. Here's what I know.
Holy shit. This woman is just talking about nothing. I'm going to skip and go to the next one. Holy shit. That's bad.
Oh, we like to keep the hiring process equitable.
Let's go over some of the jobs I thought about applying to, but then I read the descriptions and it didn't make sense. So this one was posted 1 hour ago. I was real excited to be the first person to apply. It says that it's a paid internship of $16 an hour, but then you read the description. The description says, this is a voluntary position to start. This will become a paid position in May of 2026 at 10 hours per week of $16 per hour. It is September. You will not pay me until May?
What's it going to take for our women to stop trying to find jobs and start trying to find husbands? You know, what is that going to take? I don't want to go through anymore, so I'm just going to burn out the last couple minutes just sitting here. But what is it going to take? How bad does the job market have to get before women decide that, you know what, maybe this isn't all it was cracked up to be? You know, maybe the whole go to college and get a good job and be a boss babe and buy my own house isn't the way to go. Maybe that doesn't actually even bring happiness. Like, all these women are miserable. Yeah, searching for a job sucks. Trying to get hired, trying to convince somebody to pay you money to do something sucks. That is a difficult process. And these women just keep throwing themselves into the mosh pit. You know, we have to compete with these women. The women have to compete with us. So this is why they land into their daycare jobs. But ultimately, they're taking away jobs from men that would provide for them. So the whole system is set up backwards. The only winners are the corporations that can keep wages suppressed because now they have double the workforce, right? Now all the women and men are trying to work because they have to work because that's how it is now. So wages aren't going to get better until women get out of the workforce, and they will be happier out of the workforce. Hell, most people are happier out of the workforce. I think everybody's happier out of the workforce. So this has kind of gone on for a little bit too long. Like, there's not enough productivity left to go around. We can't just keep putting up daycare jobs. It's literally killing the dollar. You wonder why the dollar is so shit. It's because we have so many women in the workforce. Get them out. Get the women out of the workforce, and the dollar will strengthen. They're not directly correlated, but downstream, over the long term, ultimately that will help the dollar out because this is nothing but inflationary. We have too many women doing too many unproductive jobs that do nothing, like HR. Like what is HR even doing? Gatekeeping jobs from men and protecting women in their roles, which is kind of not what this country needs. It won't survive. And we're seeing it now with how fast the dollar dies. So that was fun. I know nobody watches this long anyway, so I just try to make it to 10 minutes to see if I can do it. It's a little difficult. But I will call it here. Have a good weekend. Peace.